Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So these last couple of weeks, I got myself in a lot of drama at two different meetups, and both of them resulting from my being harassed about my food allergies. And kind of funny because both of these meetups, we had other people with other uh, disabilities. At one meetup, one guy comes in a wheelchair, and then at the other meetup, this guy might not react to food in the place, like sitting around somebody, but he has type 1 diabetes, and he often refuses food there and whatnot, right? And but for some reason, those things are not fun to poke fun at, right? But when somebody has to refuse food or walk away from the table because of an offending food item, that's still in vogue to make fun of. Oh yeah, there's another thing that's not popular to make fun of anymore. If somebody refuses alcohol, that needs to be the end of the story, right? But for some reason, if somebody refuses food, we can still push, right? Even though they're both drugs, right? For some reason, we have a different attitude. But what really hit me hard is not so much that. So last night I almost got myself kicked out of a board game meetup because our host, our leader of the meetup, was upset that I wasn't ordering food at the bar that we were holding the meetup in. He explained to me that the group had been had problems with other restaurants for people not ordering food, taking up their space and all that, which kind of makes sense. And also the last straw that upset him was that I was playing a game of Ticket to Ride, the U.S. version, unfortunately, but which is nice. But I had to walk away mid-game because this guy decided he needed to come by with his buffalo wings, and say, I have milk allergies, my skin will flare up, and sit down at the table. And I'm like, you know what, this doesn't work for me. And I walked away mid-game, and it really upset the dynamics of the game. Now, can you imagine if the person who had the type 1 diabetes needed to leave because of a reaction, or maybe the person with the wheelchair, his wheelchair is malfunctioning and he needs to go. Can you imagine anybody trying to say anything to those people? But for some reason, with food allergies, it's still very popular to practice a form of ableism, right? I know it sounds dramatic, but that's what it is, right? And I'm so glad I went to. Even though I didn't get kicked out, I talked my way out of the situation last night and explained to him that, I hope you want me to be able to drive safely home, right? After all, we're in a bar. The idea that people can actually be safe to drive home is kind of meaningful in a bar setting, right? Maybe not because of a food allergy, right? So I'm so glad I came up with that analogy. So it worked out very well, and I promised him that, in the it was I shouldn't have apologized, but I said, you know what, I may have came a little bit unprepared. Maybe I should have talked to these people. And he says, no, you don't tell people about your food allergies. That's not for everybody else to accommodate you. And that really hurt me. But as I walked away, and I said, you know what, can you give me one more chance to practice all of this, because I'm really trying to make it work out, and I think it hit him by surprise, and he said, okay, but please next time don't bring your electronics here. And it's also kind of distracting. I think what happened was, not only did I walk away from the table because of the food allergies, but I went to my laptop, and he probably mistook that for I decided that opening my email or recording a Peter Dislike Show at the moment was more important than finishing the game and upsetting the balance. No, it wasn't that. I was pretty upset about the game being interrupted too, and trying to make the best of it, right, rather than make a scene about it, right? And you know what? Last night when I talked about this, I swore off going to that meetup, even though I didn't get kicked out because of how this guy practiced ableism. But then I realized ableism is all around us, and if I don't practice it there, I'm going to have to practice it when it becomes less convenient, when it happens at work, when it happens with my family, right? So I think I'm actually going to go back to the meetup to practice, and also more importantly, not just practice ableism, but practice good responses when I hear unexpected events in my conversations. One thing I run into a lot is I just recorded a video about quiet quitting. I go up to my boss thinking about saying various things, but my boss says something completely off script, maybe something ableist, maybe something sexist, and I get completely thrown off the rails of what I wanted to say and do. I can't tell you how many times I've done that, not only with my bosses, with the students, with various colleagues. I'm trying to remember the last time. Oh, I remember the last time I did that. I had been doing some tutoring gigs that I found on Facebook Marketplace, and one of my students upset me because he often showed up late and still expected the entire session, and also at first I kind of accepted a rate that was a little bit below what I had hoped for, but then I realized that the tutoring wasn't going as I had planned. The schedule was choppy, it was often last minute, it was often rescheduled and all that, and so I suck at that. People often walk all over me because they see that I enjoy my tutoring, and when they see that I enjoy my tutoring, they almost feel like they don't have to pay me well, they don't have to work with me, because, oh my God, you enjoy it so much, you'll do it in your sleep and we don't have to pay you. People often carry that attitude around. And so I was about to put my foot down and talk to this student, but I sat down with him, and you know, the truth is I really do love my tutoring. And sometimes I get too lost in it that I forget that I want to speak up anymore. And so this went on for a couple weeks until I completely burnt out. The truth is I really love all of my work. My day job at the two colleges, the tutoring work, the art projects. I made $5 or $6 on my YouTube channel last year, but that's fine. I love recording these videos. I love everything that I do, is the point. The problem is that love doesn't pay bills, it doesn't keep me alive, and so oftentimes I forget to put my foot down until push comes to shove. Right? Love also often doesn't overcome ableism, right? It can kind of make up for it, but often doesn't overcome it, right? And so that's the problem, right? Somebody says something that I didn't expect, and everything goes out the window, right? Just like at the board game meetup. I might have went in there expecting not to play my favorite games, expecting to have to negotiate, expecting to have to walk away from a table due to food allergies. Yeah, I totally expected that. What I didn't expect last night was to hear an ableist comment, right? And it threw me a little bit. And I'm so glad I worked my way around that. And you know what? Next time I hear ableism, especially if it doesn't happen at work, I gotta be thankful that this guy is giving me a chance to practice. It's all about perspective, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.